Very good morning, students. I, Asad Patel, welcome you to study from home. Students, today we are going to start a new topic that is experiment with water. We do lots of experiment, like we make a paper boat and put that boat into water, right? Then we play with water. Okay, we throw balloon. Okay, we mix a color. Different experiment we do with water. Now our first point is what floats and what sinks. Beta, we need to understand about float and sink. Beta, float means the thing which remain on the surface of the earth, that is float. For example, ship, then plastic ball, okay, plastic boat, okay, wooden stick, that things float. Okay, sinks means it sank to the bottom. For example, pin, iron pin, okay, iron nail, coin, okay, these things sinks to the bottom, right? Now Aisha was waiting for dinner. Today Ammi was making her favorite food, puri and spicy potato. Aisha watched as her mother rolled out puri put in hot oil. She saw that at first the puri sank to the bottom of pan. As it puffed up, the puri came up and started floating on the oil. Right? How it floated on the oil? Just because air, okay, hot air occupy between two layer of puri, and as we all know, hot air is light in a weight, so it force that puri toward up, okay, and this is how that puri float. One puri did not puff up and did not float like other. On seeing this, Aisha took some dough and rolled into a ball. She flattened in it and put it in bowl of water. Alas, it sank the bottom and stayed there. Okay, why things float and why things floats and sank? Just because of density of water and density of things. For example, if the density of water is less than the density of things, it means thing will sink to the bottom. If the density of water is more compared to the density of thing, then that object or that thing float. Think what would happen if Aisha puffed puri in bowl of water. Would it sink or float? So initially it float, but as soon as it absorb water, then it sink. You put a steel plate on a water, would it sink or float? What would happen to spoon? See, for example, if the density of plate is less than the water, then it will definitely be float. But if the density of plate is more, and here the steel plate, so the density of steel plate is more, right? Spoon, definitely spoon is compactable in size, so it sink to the bottom. See, floating and sinking is a depend on density as well as size and shape, right? For example, spread shape, that will float, but ball shape, for example, you put a aluminium foil, okay, spread aluminium foil, then it definitely will float. But if you make ball of that aluminium foil, then it will sink to the bottom. Now, would the cap of plastic bottle sink or a float on water, that cap of plastic bottle will definitely float. Okay. In the evening, Aisha went for a bath. She had just come out when her mother called. Aisha, you dropped the soap in water again. Take it out and put it in a soap case. Aisha was in a hurry and soap case fell out her hand. It started floating on water. Aisha gently put soap in soap case. She saw that case continue float even if the soap in it. Have you seen that something float on water while others sinks? Think how this happened. The poem here raised such a question. Okay, soap. So the density of soap case and the density of soap is more or less. For example, density of soap is more, density of soap case is less. Second thing, that soap case was made up of plastic. So plastic definitely will float on the surface of earth. Right here we have a poem, a wooden Y-O-Y. Right, title of poem is Y-O-Y. Okay. Wooden boat in a water will float, but a needle will sink. Why does this happen? Let me think. Okay, let me explain you this paragraph. Wooden boat. So the density of wooden boat is less. That's why it float. But needle will sink. Why needle will sink? Because it is made up of iron. And second thing, most important thing is that the compactability of iron pin, right? The pin. The atoms, the molecule of that pin is tightly packed. That's why it sinks to the bottom. An iron ship will also float, though it's much heavier than my boat. Okay, why iron boat? Just because of density of iron boat is less than the density of ocean water. Clear? Density of iron boat is less than the density of ocean water in the ocean. Second thing, the ocean water is saline, salty, so that will increase buoyant force. Now what do we mean by buoyant force? Beta, buoyant force is force which push object upward, which push object upside. That is called buoyant force. So the more salty water is, the more buoyant force is there, right? But needle light as a leaf, thin as a pin, will it sinks right in. As I told you, compactability of this compactability of needle and molecule are tightly packed. That's why it sinks to the bottom. Why does this happen? Let me think. Okay. Now do this and find out. So here we are going to observe an experiment, right? You also can conduct this experiment at your home, right? It will need big pot filled with water and things listed in the table. Put each things one by one in water and observe. Write your observation in table given on the page. So here things are there. You can write down your observation in book, right? So do this experiment and try to fill up this table, as well as I'll explain you. Meanwhile, I'll explain this table and I'll explain about this experiment in my next class, beta. Till then, thank you very much and have a nice day. Allah Hafiz.